Hello, hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, we've got audio. Always test the audio. Just changing the name on the stream there. Cool. Welcome back to my Twitch stream. Doesn't have a name. Lord Havoc's Twitch stream. For the last couple of streams, we've been looking at Trek LTR expansion missions done by Mr. Dan Cole. His awesome selection of missions. I mean, look, these are all Dan's missions here. Like, he's actually beaten me now. What, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 versus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 15 missions. He's beaten me. It's been a lot of fun. It's inspired me to sort of look at some missions for myself. Least of all, to catch up. Kind of the expansions be bigger than the actual main core get set, can we now? But also just sort of work on some ideas that I had previously, just never really got around to it. One of those was this mission we're about to look at today, which is The Hunted. I hate that it's not straight. Which is based off the TNG episode The Hunted, which is Rogar. All about Mr. Rogar. And it's essentially a story about returned veterans, like treating returned veterans with respect. And I mean, they went to war for you, and quite often how they're treated when they return is not good. So it's basically based on that, and with, of course, a bit of Trek action and stuff thrown in there. And I had this idea ages ago, but I was re-inspired because one of Dan's cards is a hero version of Rogar. I always had him as an ally, but Dan made a hero version, which I quite like. I think it's quite clever. So I thought, hey, I'd revisit this mission. Now, it is an original mission. It's not based off of a pre-existing quest that's then been turned into a Trek-themed mission. It is actually wholly original. And so therefore, it could have some problems. So we're going to playtest it. So this is not a release video. It's not finished by any means. This is 100% playtesting, balance checking. Does it even work? Is it even fun? Whatever the case may be. So I'll talk a little bit more in depth about it than I would with a normal mission, to sort of give you an idea. Now, before we start off with that, I thought it would be fun that since it's a TNG quest, TNG mission, to have a TNG crew. So essentially, I just changed my heroes to some TNG heroes: Jean-Luc, Worf, and Beverly. Now, normally I would have a Spirit. I normally play Spirit Tactics Law. Jean-Luc, though, I don't really have. The only real Spirit TNG crew hero I have is Deanna, which is fine. She's perfectly fine. But the Deanna ally is so awesome that you really wouldn't want to play without her. I mean, she's just magnificent. So I've gone with Jean-Luc, and mainly because Jean-Luc, hey, he's awesome. I mean, 3-2-2-4. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. But also his ability is just top notch. You may use Jean-Luc's Picard resources to pay for ally and event cards from any sphere. So it's a more powerful. Well, yeah, I guess it's a more powerful version of the Enterprise's ability, which is the first card you play does not require a resource patch. Give or take. So between the two of those two cards, I mean, I can essentially play any card I want. So I do still have all my Spirit cards in here because Jean-Luc can still play them, as long as they're not an attachment, which this one can play. So either way, it works. And then Worf, of course, for your tactics, for your combat, He'll be my main combat person. John Luke can get into a scrap if he needs to as well. Beverly not as much so. She's mainly the questing bit and her cool healing ability. But Worf will be the main combat person, which makes sense. Let's see, he's the tactical security officer. So range the threat by 1 to ready Worf. Once per phase. So you're able to keep your threat down, especially considering the starting threat for these 3 characters is 31, which makes sense, but they are the TNG crew. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? I could technically still have my beloved Ro. He's in here somewhere. No, she's not. Lies. Where's Ro? I'm sure Ro's in here somewhere. There she is. So I could technically have Ro as a TNG hero. So I may change to her, to be honest. I might actually change to her at some point, depending on how young Worf goes. It is only a 2-point difference, though, because Ro is so awesome. But I didn't want to fiddle too much. This is the exact same deck I've been using for all of the Dan Call missions. The only thing I've changed is the starting lineup of the heroes. And that's because, obviously, I know what's coming in the deck. And I didn't want to engineer my player deck to counter this specifically. I wanted to go in blind as much as possible, right? So to sort of see how it goes. There's no point engineering the deck to beat the quest while you're testing out the quest. I don't see what the point of that is. But anyway, alright, so the mission. The mission is, of course, based off the episode The Hunted. So the Hunted is the Enterprise visits the Angosians who want to join Starfleet. And at first John Luke's quite impressed. Other than the fact that he finds them quite boring, but other than that, they should be a good, a group to join the Starfleet, or the Federation of Planets, or more likely. And but then, while they're still there, they get asked to apprehend an escaped convict, and so of course they do, being the do-gooders that they are. And so they try to apprehend Rogar, who's escaped in a Angosian police shuttle. And he, right away, he shows them up for the arrogance that they have. Like they're very arrogant about it. I mean, especially George. It's kind of, it's like, well, how? I mean, it's the Enterprise. It's like the most advanced ship in Starfleet at the time. This little thing has no chance. And of course, he proves them wrong by doing very, very well. And almost... Oh, sorry about that very loud noise. That was the lid of my drink bottle taking a tumble. Yeah, shows them up. It does very, very well. But it does eventually get captured because, let's face it, it's overwhelming odds. So that's stage 1, is the Enterprise trying to capture Rogar to begin with. Stage 2 is the second point of the episode where Rogar then escapes. Spoiler alert for an episode from 20 years ago. He escapes the brig, which with the holding cell, and almost causes quite a lot of havoc before he does so, but does eventually escape. But then again gets captured and sent back to the colony. And then the third part is the convicts escape again. I mean, John Luke's starting to have some second thoughts about the Angosians, and the convicts escape again, and John Luke essentially says, the Angosians demand that the Enterprise crew intervene and help the coup that's going on. So Rogar leads a coup against the government, and John Luke's like, well, I'll leave it to your own devices. It's mainly a play on it's the whole demand thing. It's like, well, you told us not to interfere in your politics before, and so now I'm not going to interfere again. That's essentially it. That's the Hunted. So The quest is the mission is split into two separate phases. The first phase, so the first stage, has its own encounter deck. The second stage, there's only 2 stages, has its own encounter deck as well. So this is the stage 1 encounter deck. It's only 14 cards and deals with Rogar leading them a merry chase in the police shuttle. And the second encounter deck is dealing with Rogar himself leading them a chase on the Enterprise. Now what I've tried to do with this is the concept of having one particular enemy. There are other enemies, but they're not really as important. But one specific enemy who takes on the entire crew. So one enemy takes on everybody, essentially is what it was. So there really is a lot of bouncing around between the stage and area engagement, so that essentially, kind of like what the wargs do, right? So he engages, kicks a bit of butt, and then runs off again. And that sort of mirrors what happens in the actual episode. So that's he arrives somewhere, like the engineering room or something, beats him up, does some stuff at engineering, and then back into the Jeffrey Tubes, and then goes into some other place on the Enterprise. It's pretty cool. So let's hope I've done that right. I have more confidence in stage 2 than I do in stage 1. I whipped this together in about a week. And this is the very first play test of it, so I'm a bit nervous. Stage 1, I don't know if it really works, but stage 2 I'm quite happy about. So let's get to stage 2 as quick as possible. Alright, so stage 1. The Ngosians have requested that you recapture the escaped convict Rogar Dana. Despite overwhelming ship superiority, you find your quarry a challenge. So he hides behind an asteroid. Set the enemy Rogar Dana aside out of play. There he is. Place the enemy Ngosian police shuttle into the staging area. There it is. Set encounter deck 1 as the encounter deck. As encounter deck 1. 1B. So 10 progress needed. The stage cannot be completed unless an Ngosian police shuttle is in the victory display. That should probably be higher. Now that I've thought about it. I mean, Ngosian police shuttle is only 1. These guys alone can do 3, 6, 9, 10. If I wanted to do all of them. I'll think about that. That's what this is about. So there's going to be quite a bit of pauses where I sort of think about stuff. If you've got any comments on what you think should be done to improve or anything like that, please let me know. But I've got my little notepad here, ready to rock. This stage cannot be completed unless an Ngosian police shuttle is in the victory display. Victory 1. If an Ngosian police shuttle is placed into the discard pile, the players lose the game. So if we kill this card, we lose. We can't just kill it. We're told to recapture him. We can't just willy-nilly blow people out of space. I might change that if you're playing the Klingons, because they wouldn't give a crap. They would just be like, yep, you're gone. But no. The Enterprise isn't just going to blow them out of space, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, and then you get your 14 cards here, so I'm going to shuffle that. Shuffle that, make sure there's no shenanigans, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 6. And I'm just, I'm not going to mulligan, I'm just going to go with what I've got. Alright, so, boink. I was thinking about this before actually. Jolene is essentially a cheaper version of Beverly. Exhaust Beverly to heal up to 2 points of damage from a non-ship character. Exhaust Jolene to heal 2 damage on any one hero. Wording's essentially the same. 2, 1, 1. 3, 1, 1. Yeah. 2 points versus 3 points. I mean, why would you ever play Bev when you've got Jolene as a ally? I have to readjust that. I mean, Bev does do 3 if it's a Starfleet character. So I guess there's that. But still, it's a substantial difference in cost. Anyway, I'll think about that. Alright, so I can play... now, I don't want the ship to die. If I wanted the ship to die, I'd play that immediately and then just engage it, and then boom, see ya, it's gone. But I don't want that. I don't want it to die. And obviously can't use stasis field. Oh, see, now there's the trick, right? Can I just put stasis field on it and then not kill it and just trap it and just never let it do anything? So should it be immune to player card effects? Because it's not, right? In the episode, they do tractor beam it. They throw a tractor beam on it. And so in retaliation, he turns around and does a suicide run towards the ship. Which means that the tractor beam disengages. The computer automatically disengages the tractor beam and throws the shields up. The ship just bounces off the shields. So, so it's not immune to player card effects. That is just not thematic. But there's no real way for me to say, okay, well, I'm just going to throw a stasis field on it, which is, essentially a tractor beam. Which means it can no longer attack. Then I can just go about getting the progress. Alright, so broken part number 1. So I guess I could be just totally specific and just say you can't use stasis field or tractor beam. But I don't like that. I don't like when you're very specific like that. That's you basically admitting there's an issue. What if I just say it can't be trapped? You know what? That actually makes more sense. So if I say this, it cannot... Oh, well, it's not traps. They're items. I took away the word trap, right? What if I say it can't be targeted by items? Oh, that's got the word trap. Actually, this building says ship item too. Oh, jeez. Right off the bat. I mean, that's actually a good thing, I suppose. I mean, it means I can just make the immediate changes. So, alright, how about this? Instead of saying immune to player card effects, which it clearly isn't, because it does get tractor beamed, what if I say at the end of the round where it does have an effect like that, it discards that effect, which is him getting out of it. Let's do that. Let's do that. So Argosian. Is it Argosian or Angosian? Angosian police shuttle. So let's say because what's the exact wording of stasis field? Makes sense. At the end of the round in which a player card attached to this card, discard that attached card. Which would be a forced effect. Okay. So it can be trapped, but the trap doesn't last very long. let's do that. Okay, all right, so breakage number 1 taken care of. Let's go, let's continue on. Let's grab that card. Up. Okay, that takes care of that. Now, you never know. What else have I got? So I got Starfleet Training, Delta, always good, and Jolene, which... Oh, I'll chuck her in there for the questing bit. Other than that, okay. So let's get... Well, I think the number 1 would be... getting... Delta out. So the first card you play doesn't need a sphere, so let's do that. Let's get Delta out, get some location stuff happening there. Yeah. That's pretty much it, right? Really? Alright, so 3... Aggressive all 3 of them because it's the ship it's going to be doing anything, so let's get all of them in there. 2, 5, 6, 9. See what I'm saying? 9 already. -1. Boom. Doomed 1 straight away. Alright. Now we've got... You are cunning. That's when he runs into Worf. And he says, "You are cunning. You must have Klingon blood." Not that the Klingons are all that cunning. I mean, come on. When revealed, remove X progress from the mission where X equals Rogar Dunar's threat. Well, Rogar Dunar doesn't have any threat. Straight away, there's a problem. He has no... He has no threat. So that's automatically wrong. Because he doesn't even exist yet. I mean, he's on the shuttle, but we don't really know that. So, that really should say where X equals Rogar Dunar's or Angosian police shuttle's threat. But even then, I'm not removing anything because there's nothing on there just yet. So, let me just quickly fix that. You are cunning. Jeez. That's what playtesting's all about, people. You are cunning. I mean, they would never be together in the same screen, so remember where X equals. Or Oh, sorry. I also failed to remember to tell you to ignore that buzzing sound. It's like 30 something degrees Celsius here at the moment, and it's quite warm. Plus, multiple computers and all that sort of stuff running, so generates quite a bit of heat. Let's grab that. You want to come in? Put that in. Grab copy to put in there, and copy to put in there. And grab the new version of it. Can I take one? You are cutting. Pretty easy. Cool. All right. So no effect, obviously, because there is nothing there. So 9 versus 1 is 8. So I'm pretty much already there already. So I think, yeah. I mean, we do generate quite a lot of. I mean, it's just coincidence that they seem to have so much willpower. Yeah. So that's that done. So now combat. Now it has a thing of 40, right? Because he doesn't want to attack. He just wants to get away. So do I optionally engage it? I think the question is yes, right? I mean, I need to try and beat it, right? So I optionally engage it. It gets a shadow card. I attack without defending. I mean, I defend without exhausting. And obviously it's of no problem. There's no shadow effect. And then I don't want to hit back. If I hit back, I'm doing 4 points of damage. I'm getting it down to 1. I don't want to shoot at it, so I'm just not going to shoot. And it stays engaged with me. So that gets discarded. Get a new round. Boom. Or he gets refreshed. Get a new card. 1, 2, 3. I immediately force field it. This should have a shadow effect. Yeah. That's missing the shadow effect. That's not a bug. That's me forgetting something. So planetary magnetic poles. Should have the same shadow effect that this card has. pushed it into there. Let's fix this one up. Application. Put it into the folder. Pop that on there. Let's just fix this one up, because that will then change so after this attack. Yeah, means I won't be able to do this. Okay, so that's working as intended, because this shadow card, because I didn't shoot back and kill it, it says after this attack add the enemy back, so I wouldn't have been able to shoot back anyway, which is what I wanted. This is the intention. So, and again, like what the wargs sort of do. So it keeps evading them is the thing. All right. So in that case, since I can't use stasis field, let's chuck a grenade. Although it would make more sense to bring Carol out, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would make much more sense to bring Carol out. I'll quest this bad boy. Alright. Which I will do in this round. I will quest it. 3. I'm gonna clear the quest, so I'm gonna leave Wharf open just in case something happens. So 3, 6, 8, 10. Three, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so card. Okay, so he's one of the other enemies. He's one of the politicians. Aid Zayna is the aide to the Prime Minister. While Aid Zayna is in play, Prime Minister Nayrok cannot be targeted by player cards or effects. But the Prime Minister is not in play anyway. And he doesn't engage till 49. Like the absolute last moment, ditch effort will he engage. And again, that's only because in the show he has a gun. When the coup attempts, he has a gun in his hand. So it's like, well, he's technically capable of attacking if he needs to. So that's why I did that. Anyways, but his threat is very low. Like he's just a lowly little political aide. He's hopeless. All right, so 2. So that means I have in fact cleared the stage without any real difficulty and captured the ship. That did not really go as I sort of saw it go in my head, but still, it still works. The mechanic still works. If I had just a crew of just 1 willpower people, you know, then would have lasted a bit longer. Although I should have, I mean, really, I could have just been questing with the ship for an extra 3 anyway. Because this has got a 0 thing, unless it gets the treachery called Suicide Run. But even then, Suicide Run would only give it +3 attack, which really is nothing. Just take that undefended. So really, I could have quested with the Enterprise itself in the first round and cleared it in 1 go. So either I need to bump how much progress is needed. Yeah, I think I might change the progress to 20. It does take them the entire first act of the episode to capture him. I don't think it'd be unreasonable to change that to needing 20. 10 is far too lenient. And 10 is pretty low, but I mean there are other quests that have 10, but it's because they've got so many things that hinder making progress and stuff, and I just don't seem to have that. So let's change it to 20. I'd be interested in an opinion on this one. What is the best option here? Do I increase the progress to 20 and delay clearing it by maybe one round with this particular team intact? Or do I just add more treachery cards that perhaps reduce progress or say that you can't place any progress? Or maybe increase the amount of cards that you have to have. I mean, I'd be interested to see how well it would do in a 2-player. Solo, it just appears to be too easy. But, or maybe say the progress is X amount per player. No. All right, let's explore that out. Get that on screen at least. So let's just bounce this off for a second. And then grab the card. B. The Hunted 1B. Okay. Alright, so 10 versus 2 is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 16. And we'll have at least one more round. Alright, so let's go through these shenanigans again. I optionally engage it. Defend with the Enterprise. There's the Prime Minister Nayrock. He has no shadow effect. He has a cool ability though. In my opinion, if I do say so myself, when revealed, target and exhaust a hero in play with the Captain or Commander trait. While Prime Minister Nayrock remains in play, that hero cannot refresh as normal at the refresh phase. That's meant to represent him just harassing Picard multiple times, just really starting to wear down his patience. If there are multiple heroes of those traits in play, the players as a group may choose the hero to target, with preference being the first player. It should be given to the first player, but that's basically what it is. Obviously, it'd be John Luke in this particular order. But if you had John Luke and Riker, for example, it's like, which one? So the first player gets to choose. Anyway, so no thing, obviously no value. I don't want to hit back. And now no card. So this is not a mistake. He's not meant to have that ability, unlike planetary magnetic pulse. So the card is now here. So now I can do stasis field. Now what does that mean? If I do stasis field, right, so when used by a ship, it's just called tractor beam. So it's still the same thing. It's still an item that still does stuff. So it is now officially trapped. But only until the end of the round. So there's no point. There really is no point playing stasis field on now that I've got that thing on there, which is great. So it works. Because at the end of the round, it's just going to bounce back to the staging area anyway. Because I don't want to kill it. So I might as well save my resources. So I'll save that for one of the other guys if I need to. So let's put those back on there. Okay, so it's still with me though. I don't want to kill it, so I don't want to do mines. I don't want to. I might just chuck a grenade. A grenade! Okay, so the first thing doesn't need a resource match, so let's just chuck a grenade onto Carol. Yeah, let's chuck it on Carol. So she can throw it at Rogar when he shows up. These things are just nasty. Alright, let's do that. So now again, I don't need the ship. So I could just quest out this section of the round. Finish it up nice and easy. I only need 4. So let's do it, right? I mean, if I was playing properly, that's what I would do. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to leave Carol untapped so she can use her thing, and Worf just in case, because Rogar comes into play and starts doing shit. So, what did I say? 11? 3, 6, 9, 11. Okay, so grab a share card. Okay, so that should be the new magnetic field card. There's multiple copies of it. Okay, alright. So planetary magnetic pole. Space. Location. While planetary magnetic pole is the active location, ship enemies cannot be optionally engaged or damaged by player card effects because he hides in the magnetic pole and creates essentially a fake cloak, which is pretty sweet. And then shadow effect is after this, back to the end, to the staging area. So that works well. Too late though, because I've already been optionally engaged. If this had been the first card, that would have been much better. But anyway, it's not. So versus 3, 11 versus 3 is what, 8. So I have easily gotten what I need. So boom, gone. Even bumping it up to 20, and it shouldn't go up to any higher than that. That's the thing. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? What is this? The stage cannot be completed unless a Yodeling police shuttle is in the victory display. I've missed something vital here. I've missed something here. There's meant to be a mechanic that says that you can't destroy it, but you can capture it. Oh, what have I done? People, I've completely misconstrued what I was trying to achieve here. It was going to be, once you attach the card, discard the attached card and place it in the victory display, right? But that basically just says you must have stasis field in your deck, right? And I just don't agree that any quest should have that. No quest should say you must have a card in order to win a specific card. It's just not fair. It's just not how a game should work. Otherwise, where's the joy in playing? Then it just becomes like a pot shot to try and get to the card. It's dumb. And I had an idea, which I now can't find in any of my notes, of how to get around that. I didn't want it destroyed. I wanted it captured. What have I done? This whole first stage is broken. Like I said, the first stage was actually created after the second stage, and I'm just not confident that it really works. I can't really think of how to make it work and still be fun, like enjoyable. I failed the first stage completely. There's meant to be a card that says put it into the victory display, which is only why there's... Well, let's have a look. What have I done? Why have I got this thing saying that if it's destroyed, they lose the game? It doesn't make any sense, because if you destroy it, it goes into the victory display. I think it's just this line that doesn't make any sense. This line was designed to say the players can't deal it lethal damage, but it can deal itself lethal damage. That's what it is. That's what I've gotten wrong. I think that solves everything. So, if I just change that to say... Police shuttle. Is this a forced response or a response? Yeah, I think it's a response effect, right? Not a forced effect. Response. This card is dealt lethal damage by a player card or effect. Ignore the victory. Place it into the discard pile instead. Right, that I think makes much more sense. So now, if it's dealt lethal damage by a player card or effect, ignore the victory effect and place it into the discard pile instead. Which of course then means you lose the game because it's placed in the discard. So I can't shoot back at it, I can't grenade it, can't photon torpedo it, but it can kill itself, which is what Suicide Runner is all about. And I think the very first version of this card actually had this text on it already. I don't know why I got rid of it. That was weird. But anyway, this is part of the process. Part of putting the mission together. So I thank you for being part of it. It makes it a lot more fun. I mean, it's embarrassing when you see something so obviously ridiculous, but it's still fun. So it sort of feels like a collaboration, which is pretty cool. So, where's the card gone? Oh, it's down here. All right. So, let's grab the proper version of that. Just a quick check to make sure I'm getting the audio again, because I'm a bit paranoid that I'm not. Testing 1, 2, 3. Just getting the new version of the card. Testing 1, 2, 3. Go. All right. So there's that. Let's just grab the new version for here. There we go. All right. So I didn't hit it back. I didn't Thino it, but I do definitely have enough progress. But I can't do anything with it until I capture it. Okay, this is more what I had in mind. So it should probably go back to 10 or 15, because really it didn't take that long for them to capture the ship. It was when he was on the ship that it just took forever. So I think I might turn that back to 10 or 15. So we'll leave it at 20 for now, just for now. I'll think about it. So I was on 16, and then I beat it again by 8. So what's that, 24? So I technically have enough here. Okay, now now it's getting interesting. Just shuffle that, just so there's no shenanigans going on. It has to be in a victory display, which means there's 2 cards, unless I've stuffed something up. There should be 2 cards in here that can put it into the victory display. So let's test out that theory. I technically can't clear it, so let's travel to planetary magnetic thing, which means that enemies cannot be optionally engaged or damaged by player card effects. Brilliant, because it's now cloaked. Problem being that it is already engaged. Should that bounce it back to... Should that say if it's already engaged, bounce it back? Yeah. Yes, it should. Is that a forced effect or responsive? I think it's a response. When enemy ship when becomes like location return one enemy ship. The enemy ship with back to the staging area. Okay. Okay, let's do this. So it bounces it back because they cloak, right? So it bounces it back to the staging area. Okay, let's try this. So let's grab this, put it into its folder. Oh, there's a little graphical problem. What is this? What is this? What's happened? Is it not copied properly? I just think it didn't copy properly. Okay, let's get a new copy. It's embarrassing. Alright, so now let's grab this. So when it becomes the active location, this bounces back to the staging area. And then while it's the active location, cannot be engaged or damaged by player card effects. Alright, so I definitely should bump this back to 10 or 15. I'll do that later though. I'll do that in a second because it's fine for now. I've easily got enough will, and I'll easily get it again next round anyway, so it's only 4. So let's do that. So it's bounced back, so no effects. Alright, let's just move to the next round. This guy's not engaging, and I don't really need to do it. I mean, I could just, you know what? I'm just gonna optionally engage this dude. It's fine. I'm gonna defend with Carol. Defend for 1. No effects. This is the Luna 5 colony. I suppose I should call that the Luna 5 penal colony. But anyway. All enemies with both Angosian and soldier traits gain +4. They have to have both of those traits, which he doesn't have. He only has 1. And plus, it's not really an effect because it's only a shadow card anyway. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so he attacks for 0, which he easily defends, and then Worf just kills him. Oh no, Worf doesn't kill him. He actually survives. What are the odds? He actually lives. Worf, come on, man. Come on, Worf. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, jeez. Anyway, moving on. Worf. Why is he health 3? I mean, he's a healthy looking dude. It's not like he's old and feeble and stuff, so 3 makes sense. But jeez. Come on, man. That should have been an insta-kill. Alright, let's begin the round. Enough of that. Enough of that shenanigans. Threat. Boom, 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 boom. I could have done raise 1 threat to ready young Worf. but you can't attack the same target twice, so it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, I don't need that. So what I am going to do is do the first card, or what is it? It's a condition, so it doesn't count. What's that? Ally and event card. It's an attachment. So I'm just going to use the Enterprise's ability, the first card you spend, and give Worf some Starfleet training so that I don't have to do the one threat to ready him business. I can still do it if I want to, so it means I can actually ready him twice. So that's pretty handy. What have we got? Questing 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Now this time it's important that Delta goes because she automatically puts a progress on here. Thank you. So it's 11 plus a free progress. It's pretty sweet. Card. All right, here we go. Suicide run. So straight off the bat, it's doomed 1. Threat slowly but surely building up. All right, so we've got when revealed, the ship enemy in the staging area with the highest threat engages the first player, which contradicts this card. Cannot be optionally engaged. So yep, that's fine. Engages the first player. It gains +X attack until the end of the round. Its total defense is reduced to 0, and it takes X damage. The combo's working here. X equals the combined total of its threat plus attack plus defense attributes. So it gains +3. Because they have got 3. So it doesn't count the hit points, just the 3. So it engages the first player. It doesn't say attack, it just says engages. Yeah. That should say engages and attacks. Yeah, it definitely should. So I'll change that to say and attacks. So suicide run. I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. Bad. Or should say attack. I don't know. It engages. It gains +3 attack. Its total defense is reduced to 0 and it takes X damage. Oh, no. It can't take the X damage right now because it would just be dead. Yeah, suicide run needs to be like, at the end of the round it takes X damage. After the attack, it takes X damage. Yeah, after attack. After its attack, it takes X damage. Yeah, let's do that. You know what? I'm going to make that change now. I know that's annoying, but I'm going to make that change now just so I don't forget or stuff it up later because I can't read my own goddamn handwriting. So, suicide run. When revealed, the ship enemy in the station area with the highest threat engages the first player. It gains +X attack until the end of the round. And its total defense was reduced to 0. I'm not going to do the end attacks bit. It should attack at the attack phase. Attacks. After its attack, it takes X damage. After its attack, it takes X damage. X equals the pi total organization. Okay, cool. Now, should it be doomed 2? No, I'm happy with doomed 1. That's fine. Save. Sport. Copy. Here. Okay. Missions. Put it into here. And then change this. All part of the process. Okay. After its attack, it takes X damage. Alright, so I'm just going to leave it there as a reminder, but that means there's no threat. So it's 11 versus 0. So I only need 3 more in here. 1, 2, 3 to clear that. Which leaves me, what, 8 on here. I can't go higher than 30, so I'm just going to leave it on 30 for now. Alright, let's go to attack phase. You get yours first. You get yours first. Alright, Carol's going to defend this guy. Attacks for 0. And then the ship, so this is where it works. This is, yeah, it's working. It's working, people! The ship takes 3 undefended evasive maneuvers, which is another cool card, but of no value here. Just yet, but anyway, so it takes 3 undefended. And then after its attack, it takes 3 points of damage and dies. So it rams into the ship, takes 3 points of damage, dies. It dies. It didn't die from a player card effect, so therefore it goes into the victory display. This condition is now met. Player card unless it is in the victory display, which it is. And this guy, Worf will kill him. Finally. Worf actually finally manages to kill somebody. Brilliant. Okay, so this condition is met. Well, the condition was met before I even got to kill that guy. How does that timer work? That he went into the victory display. The condition was met. I should have gone straight to the next section before Worf even got to kill him. Now, it may not be important now, and I know for a fact it's not because I know what's coming in stage 2, but it would be important in terms of things like after you kill something you get progress, like stuff like Ro does. So that would be important. So I'm just going to leave him there for a second, and I'm going to quickly go off for a sec, and I will return. that overturned. So he's still technically in play. So let's now resolve the quest stage. And this is why it's important, because this says, despite some clever attempts to escape by the soldier, you finally managed to capture him. However, keeping him confined proves to be a bigger challenge, and apparently not even the moral thing to do. The Enterprise versus Rogue. Here we go. Clear the playing area. Remove any cards in the staging area and active location out of play. See this? Because all the space effects are no longer effects. So I don't need to worry about that because I passed the active location. There's no more cards in the staging area. But what happens to this guy? I think it's still relevant that he's still here because he's down on the planet. Rogue is up on the Enterprise with the shenanigans. And technically Worf is actually also up on the Enterprise, but he could be in a away team. So that's where I think it works. He should be untapped. So now that's cleared, and the combat phase is still happening. So let's go back to the quest deck. Clear the playing area. Remove any cards in the staging area and active location of place. Set. Oh. Yeah, set encounter 2 as the encounter deck. So let's put those back in there. Move them away. And put this deck into play. Place the enemy Rogue Dana into the staging area. Now this works. This is working. 2B. 20 progress. This stage cannot be completed unless Rogue Dana is in the victory display. Now him I can kill if I need to. So he's in the victory display. Alright, so let's look at Rogar. One threat, so he just immediately starts attacking straight away, right? He just can't help himself. He's conditioned to do so. 3, 1, 3, 3, 0. Oh, I was going to make him 0, but I thought if you're cool, if you're good enough to have your threat down to 0, which I've managed to do a couple of times, then hell, you should be rewarded for that. If you're a 0, he won't attack you because you're no threat to him. Sweet. Cannot be optionally engaged, immune to player card effects, engages player with the highest threat. So I just put that in if there was multiple players. So that's obviously where he's going to be playing solo. Forced. If Rogue Dana received any non-lethal damage this round, return him to the staging area at the round. So kind of like the Warg effect that I was telling you about before. So if he receives damage but is not enough to kill him, he'll run away to fight again another day. That's not cowardice, that's him tactical retreat. Forced. Whenever Rogue Dana returns to the staging area, heal 1 damage from him. Now that's meant to reflect the fact that he doesn't really have a healing factor in the episode per se, but he is incredibly resistant to damage. Like he gets shot with phasers and just shrugs it off sort of stuff. Like it still hurts him, but he's just like, whatever, dude. And he almost kicks Worf's ass. So he's tough, but he's not unbeatable. And I wanted to reflect on his abilities. 3-3-3 across the board is great. It's hero level, and he is superhuman. I say that 2 is essentially your baseline human ability. So he is superhuman, but he's not Superman. Like he's not unbeatable. He's beaten a number of times, and health of 6 is pretty sweet. Cool. So there he is, victory 10. All right. Now he's got his own encounter deck. We'll get to that as we go through it. Now, back to here. We're still in combat. We have not had our attack phase yet. So, we now get that. And Worf now kills him. And that's when all that sort of stuff comes into effect. So he goes on the other deck. So I would have gotten progress and all that sort of stuff. So it would have been helpful if it was wrong. But it's not. It's just Worf. Cool. But I now can't, because it was the attack phase and the combat phase, I can't optionally engage Rogar, and his thing doesn't engage either. The entire engagement step phase has already occurred, and so he's just going to wait. He's going to bide his time. Why does it say SW alert here instead of Trek alert here? Trek alert here. I don't know what's happened there. That's weird. Alright, And around. Nothing else actually happens. So threat by 1. Boom, 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 boom. I was going to have an effect which says that lower your threat by 1 for each round at the end of each round that Rogue Dana is in play, because it's just how much he just doesn't consider you to be a threat. But I thought that was being just a little too cheeky. Alright. Draw a card. So now things like grenade and stuff are going to be handy, because now I can actually do some stuff. So Q is kind of handy. I can't kill him in one shot because he deals 4 damage. Although Q could easily kill him in one shot. But still. Okay, yeah. As the creator of the mission, I obviously know these things like this. This is obviously of no importance. This is of no importance. This is of no importance because there is no more ship combat. It's all ground combat now. So stuff like Grenade is going to be good. I could queue right away, to be honest. I could queue. Oh, actually, again, is this... Oh no, he's immune to play card effects, so I can't Grenade him. Hey, that's good. I can't queue him. I can't Grenade him. I'm pleased by that. I'm pleased by that, because otherwise I would have just queued and then grenaded as soon as he engaged. Grenade to the face. Thanks. Bye. Obviously we can't do that. So that's great. I can't queue him either. I can queue to draw cards or reduce my threat though. It is getting up to 37. I could do that. Reduce threat and then quest with him. I'll leave it for now. I think instead what I might do is pull Jolene out and just use her willpower at the very least, right? So 1, 2, 3. Let's use John Wick's ability. Point. Pull Jolene out. Okay, so quest 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Lucky number 13. Versus 3. And the first card is Engineering. So Rogar's gone into engineering, which is what he does in the episode. Goes in there and kicks Geordie's ass. So a location, a 4 threat location, 3, 7. Alright, now the shenanigans is going to start. Let's, so what's that? 6. Difference of 6. Let's put it right there so it looks like Rogar's touching it. So what is this? Alright, and then yeah, so travel. Reveal the top card of the encounter deck to travel here. While it's the active location, it gains the following ability. At the end of the round, heal 3 damage from all ship heroes. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty good. Again, so reveal the top card of the encounter deck. Alright, so let's do that. Superior, engineered intellect. Use the same picture just because it's cool. Engineered intellect. When revealed, Rogue Dana cannot be damaged this round. Love it. All right, this is. I'm really excited about this. Really excited because this is stage 2 is I think the one that works the best, and should be a lot of fun. So you cannot be damaged this round. Simple as that. So let's got that. All right, so that's questing done. Travel done. All that sort of stuff. Alright, so engage. He cannot be optionally engaged, but that's right. He's going to engage anyway. He's got engagement at 1. You probably don't even need that line on the card, but still. There he is. There we go. Engaging. Now, I will defend with Young Worf. So defending for 2 versus 3. No, I think this is the only treachery in this deck that doesn't have a shadow effect. So no shadow effect. So 3 versus 2. So Wolf's taking damage anyway. Wolf will then Starfleet training back up, and there's no point because he can't do any damage anyway, and he couldn't anyway. 3 versus 3. So anyway, I'll ready him anyway just for the fun of it. So Wolf's just taking it on the chin, copped a point of damage. Rogar's just smacked him in the face, and if received any non-lethal, so Rogar will actually stay here. He didn't receive any non-lethal damage. So he's actually going to stay engaged for a second. He's fighting Worf. He has a worthy opponent in young Worf. Away engineering's active location. He healed 3 damage from all ship heroes. So there's that 3 damage taken care of. Boom. Carol could have attacked as well, to be honest, and made it a 4 attack. But he still, because of that treachery, doesn't take any damage. Alright, reset. Start a new round. Threat. Building up. Okay, a phaser rifle, which is what I wanted to see, but do I do the whole... Oh, wait. Yeah. A phaser rifle is what I wanted to see. I would have preferred a batleth for thematic purposes, but a phaser rifle, I'm willing to take it. Alright. What do we got? What do we got? That'll do. 3, 6, 9, 11, 13 again. And a free progress on engineering thanks to Delta. Versus... Oh, engineered intellect again. When revealed, cannot be dealt damage this round. Oh, sucked in, Wolfie. Sucked in. So 13 to 0 means we clear this easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Which puts us down to 8. Alright, combat. Let's see what happens. Worf will defend. For 2. Engineered to survive. No, it's a shadow card, so this bit doesn't matter, but I'll just read it out anyway while it's on screen. Attached, engineered to survive, 2 Rogar Donor. While attached, he gained +2 defense. But it's not that, it's the shadow effect. After this attack, return this enemy to the staging area. So he does the attack, deals a point of damage to poor Worf, and then just runs off before anybody even gets to attack. So even if he was able to attack, he wouldn't have done any damage anyway. Because of that treachery, but then that shadow effect sends him back to the anyone anyway. He has no damage on him, so he doesn't get the heal. Okay, so this is where the playtesting goes in. So I think this is fun. I think this is great. This is working exactly how I imagined it would work. The only problem I can possibly see happening is this Can he ever actually take damage? I mean, Q can't even damage him. How does he ever take damage? Let's see what happens. So there's no point readying Worf and getting him back in action because there is nothing there to worry about. He does have 2 points of damage though. So I think I'll be using Jolene next turn to heal his damage, but we'll see how it goes. So raise threat by 1. Can I kill Rogar before I threat out? Getting the progress is not going to be an issue. So let's use Jolene to heal young Worf. And then, well, I clearly want to use Starek's Council, right? So let's go into the quest phase. So let's go on the quest phase. 1, 2, 3 reduction, and we'll say John Luke gets the +1. Well, didn't even bother casting anything. Just bang straight into questing. 4, 7, 10. I haven't lost the ability to count. Obviously, it's 12. But I'm just thinking, does Delta really need to have 2 will when she puts an extra point on the thing anyway? Anyway, 12. I'm just going to leave it at that. 12. Uh, 12 versus... Boom. Crew quarters. X equals the number of players. That's 1. After they've... Oh, well, I'll do that in a second. So it's 4. So 12 versus 4. Pretty easy. 8. So there you go. I've got the question I need, but I haven't met the criteria. It doesn't say anything about traveling here, so travel. Boom. After the players travel to crew quarters, the first player discards the top card of the encounter ally deck. If that... What's the encounter ally deck? Oh, I've taken this card from another quest. I took this card from another quest, and it has wording on it that doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know what? I'm actually going to remove this card. It should just be. It should be the deck. Yeah, I'm going to remove this card. So let's have a look at my trusty sheet. How many copies of crew quarters are in here? One. Okay, that makes it easy. So delete. Okay, let's take care of that. Alright, let's get another card since that card wasn't there. 2, so I'll just reduce that by just 1. Alright, when cargo bay is explored, place 2 additional progress on the main mission. Cool, also explored, yeah, so I'm just going to travel there. Alright, travel there, done. Reset this. We go into combat, which of course he does. Engages. Cool. Alright, let's defend with Wolf. After this attack, return this enemy to the staging area. What a shock! So Rogar does a point of damage to young Worf. He's just absorbing it like a sponge, and he doesn't get hit back. Okay. Cool. Doesn't get hit back. So yeah. So is it possible to actually damage him? Let's see. Threat. That. And draw a card. Okay, reduce threat. I'll be doing that. 1, 2, 3. Reduce threat by 6. Brilliant. So I'm not going to threat out, thank God. Just thinking out loud. Sorry, I'm thinking in my brain, not out loud. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, do I even need to quest that much? I mean, I don't really need to quest that much. I'm actually just gonna not use Jolene. Just use Delta. So down by 2, because Delta gives me a free progress anyway. So it's 11 versus 4. So, okay, I win by 8. I only need 4 or 3 on here. This leaves me with 5. And Categories Explorer plays 2 additional progress on the main mission. And then Rogar will obviously engage. Aid Zaina doesn't, and I'm not going to optionally engage him. He can just stay up there. Screw him. He's only worth 1. So Rogar gets his thing. Fend with Young Wharf. There is no shadow effect, so he does stay. Alright, here we go. So Worf takes a point of damage. Now we can attack back. So let's do it. Refresh Worf. And then we're going to attack for 3, 5, 6. Carol's getting in there. Why not? Carol can go in there and punch him in the nose like anybody else. She's a Starfleet trained officer. She can do this stuff. So 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Boom! Rogar takes damage. He takes non-lethal damage, which means that he now returns to stationary at the end of the round. He's going to stay there for a second, and then he's going to return. So get rid of this. And it is now the end of the round, right? It's the end of the round, so going to return into the staging area. And then heal him by 1. Alright, this is working. 3. Refresh. Do you even need to tap this card for it to activate? Oh yeah, exhaust phase, right. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Draw a card. Alright, so more threat reduction and willpower. I'm cool with that. So, planning. Let's get Q out. And get him to Draw me some cards. Three cards. Awesome. There's what Wolfie needs. Some actual defense. That's what we need. Elite Forces armor for young Worf. Gets +2 defense, which he sorely needs because Rogar is kicking his ass every turn. I'm going to use you to heal him. Okay, then going to quest. So quest phase, cast Sarex, cancel. 1, 2, 3. Now we're back to a decent rate. And +1 will. And I'm not going to quest with Q. I'm going to wait for combat for Q. So 4, 7, 10, 12. That's all I really need. I get a free thing, but there's nothing there, so that's fine. So that's 12 versus 4. You are cunning! Let's give that the proper thing that it's meant to have. Okay, so it's 3, so reduce 3, 2, 3. Which doesn't really matter, but it is what it is. Oh, and it was doomed 1, don't forget that. Back up to 30. So it's 12 versus 4, which means I win by 8. There's no location, so boom, boom, boom. It only goes up to 30. I can't bother getting another counter out. Boom, let's go to combat. Do I want to optionally engage this guy? No. So this guy means Rogar is just going to engage. Get a card. And now it's not a card effect, it's actually Q himself doing the stuff. So I'm going to defend with Worf. He's defending for 4. After this attack, return Rogar to the staging area. So Rogue doesn't take any, Worf doesn't take any damage. He readies. But now nobody can hit back because attack's done. So he's running back to the staging area. Which means his forced effect comes into effect. And he heals a point of damage. So I guess the question is do I have too many cards that have this shadow effect? It makes sense that it's on that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Because I think that's the only thing sort of tripping it up. Is there too many chances for him to just run away? I mean, not really. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 cards out of a 34 deck card. So 14 out of 34 that don't have that shadow effect and 20 that do. So should I make it exactly half? Exactly half, maybe. If I do an extra 6, so I take that ability off 6 cards, it'll make it exactly half. No, 3 cards. Idiot. So if I take it off 3 cards, so what ones do have it? This one, engineered intellect, that makes sense to me. Engineered to kill. Yeah, so maybe take it off engineered to kill because that's him attacking. Engineered to survive. Phaser. Train for war. You are cunning. Yeah, I'm going to take it off engineered to kill. It makes more sense. Otherwise he's just running away too much. Engineered to kill. Remove shadow effect from engineered to kill. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so he's run away. He's here at a point. It's the end of the round. John Luke loses his +1. Q runs away. Doesn't get a chance to actually do anything. Well, he gave me 3 cards, so I can't complain about that. Can't use that against Rogar at the very least. So another Starfleet training, another character. So it looks like that's the last Sarek's Council. Got all 3 of them. Brilliant. All right. Yeah, let's go straight into quest. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Sarek's Council. 12. 1, 2, 3 reduction on there. 12. Okay, boom, card. Alright, there's another You Are Cunning. We haven't seen any of the others. Where are the others? I want to see some of the attachment cards. Anyway, student 1. Oh, and you reduce. Oh, remove progress. So let's do that. Alright. Yeah, so it's still 12 versus 4, so I still win by 8. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, I've got an insane amount of progress. Oh, it's going to be done there. So I'm not going to option engage him. I'm going to engage that Rogar. Okay, defend with Young Wolf. Shadow effect, return to the enemy stationary. So it basically just becomes a bounce back and forth. Wolf survives. Because he returned to the stationary, he heals at 1 point. So Rogar's now back up. Yeah, maybe it's too much bouncing. Keep going. Let's see what happens. Right back up. Use the +1 will. Resource. Draw a card. Okay, don't need any more armor. Don't need Starfleet training. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Alright, engineered to kill. Doomed 1. When revealed, Rogadana engages and makes an immediate attack against the first player. Okay, engages, makes an immediate attack. Defend with Worf. Shadow effect is after this round return to the staging area, which makes a lot of sense. Worf takes no damage. Rogar goes back. Okay, now remember we're still in the quest phase though, so it goes back there. It's now back to 4. So that's what, 7. Boom. Don't really care. And then we then get into combat. So Rogar will in fact engage. And gets a shadow card. Got a ready Worf, who will then defend. After this attack, add this enemy to the staging area. Worf takes no damage. Rogar runs away. This has stopped becoming fun. It's basically... he has to get 2 phaser rifles to make it even legit. Which you can get. There's 3 of them. But... he gets 1, he becomes 5. Which Worf can still shrug off. He gets 1 point of damage, but he's just going to be healed every time. Let's try this. What if I just don't quest? I just quest with the ship and maybe Delta. It means all of these guys can attack and kill him in one go. You know what? That's actually what's going to happen, isn't it? As long as he doesn't get the he bounces back thing, I can kill him in one shot. Because really, I'm really up to 30, 40 something progress by now, surely, right? So, let's do it. New round. Draw 3 cards. Okay, another phaser rifle. Alright, ends of life. Alright, so now it's become pretty much a moot point, right? So Worf is... oh, he's already got 2 restricted cards. So he can't have another phaser rifle. Whoopsie. Alright, but Jean-Luc can. Thank you, Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc can have it. Alright, so now I just don't quest with him. I'm just gonna kill him. Ship and Delta is all I need to quest with. So 3, 5. Let's do 6, 7 just in case. Right? So 7. Versus Trained for War. When revealed, attach Trained for War to Rogadana. While attached, he gains +2 threat. Okay, now we start seeing the attachment and mechanic in place. So he now becomes 5 threat, 5, 6. So I still win by 1, which is fine. So I still successfully quest, so that's good. So he will now engage. Get a shadow card. Alright, so he attacks first. Wolf will, of course, defend. And he bounces back. So let's pretend he doesn't bounce back. Let's pretend he doesn't bounce back. So Wolf takes no damage. Ready, Wolf. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. Dead. So it's the bouncing back thing that is the only thing that's really saving him. But that's what's meant to happen. He's meant to bounce back. The thing is I don't know if it's fun. I mean, it's clever if I can beat my own horn for a second. And of course I meant beat my own drum, people. I understand. If I can beat my own horn for a second, yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool mechanic. I think it's a cool idea. I stand by that. But is it a fun idea? Is it actually fun? I don't know. I don't know if I'm having fun. Maybe it's just because it's ridiculously hot here. How hot is it right now? Yeah, it's currently 33 with a 27% humidity. I don't like it. I don't like that sort of crap. Although it's going to drop to 17 tomorrow. I don't know how that works. But anyway. Yeah, I'm not convinced it's actually fun. But the mechanic is working. I mean, no one's hitting me back. But still. Oh, she was dead. Yeah, anyway, the shadow card says he jumps back, so that's what he does. Let's see what happens. Threat. Resource. Draw a card. Faint, which I definitely don't need. Maybe increase the amount of Angosians. So the thing is, I don't want to put too many treacherous in there because I want the ones that give him his abilities. Yeah, what I need to do is bump them up. So if I say bump up the amount that they have. So put in an extra one of these guys. And then put in one, two, an extra copy of those. Engineer survive, train for war, and stolen phaser. Let's do that. So another one of them, and then another one of him. you. So now I just need a train for war. Oh, they're all gone. Alright, let's put them back in there. Give that a good shuffle. Another train for war, which I'll put in there. And then give it a shuffle. Okay, alright. Let's do it. Year round. Already done that? Yeah, already done that. I got fake, which is pointless. So questing, yeah. So let's not quest with everybody and just see what happens. I don't need it to quest too much. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, let's do 9, just in case something happens. Alright, when revealed, attached engineer to survive to roguery, attached he gains +2 defense. This is now we're talking. Now we are talking. So now he's a 5, 3, 5, 6. This is what I want to see start happening. So it's 5, 6. Up by 3, so still win. I'm just going to leave it on 3. He then engages. Now if he has to defend himself, he's got extra defense. Not that it's going to help him. I mean, I'm doing a ridiculous amount of damage, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so he has to defend himself. So he does have +2 defense. Let's just remember that. So let's see what happens. So Worf defends, obviously, takes no damage. Starfleet bring up. Now, how much damage am I doing? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. He still lives. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Brilliant. The system is working. That's brilliant. If I'd left her down and ready to attack, if Carol had attacked again, it would be sweet. So he survives. Which means he goes back to the end at the end of the round, which it is now anyway, right? It's already the end of the round, let's just face it. End of the round, he goes back. Because he goes back to the station area, he loses a point of damage. So he lives another day. Alright, yeah, I'm cool with it now. I'm cool with it. So I think the only real changes that need to happen is just remove the amount of time he bounces back by 3, just to even it up again, so it's half-half. But other than that, I think it works. He's not going to last forever. I mean, he's going to die next turn. Unless, of course, he gets another bounce back. So if I just reduce that to sort of even it up, I think we're good. So, end of the round, threat. Ah, well, there you go. That pretty much says it all, right? So if I just queue, and I don't really need more cards. I'm all good. I'm just going to reduce threat by 5. But now he's out here for me, which is great. And then I'm just going to quest with the allies again. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When revealed, search the encounter. You will not ignore us. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the enemy Angosian Super Soldier and add it to the staging area. Let's choose the actual pile. Angosian Super Soldier. Forced! If the defending character has an attachment, Angosian Super Soldier gains +1 attack for this attack. Alright. That's that one done. Alright. And they'll engage as well, right? So that's question done. Oh, no. Wait a minute. I might actually lose. 3, 6, 8, 9. Oh! Boom! Alright. There's that done. Now, these guys will engage. Now, funnily enough, they get their card first. So I'm going to put you over here. Get your card, get your card. Put you over here. Okay, so Wolf will defend against this arsehole. So it's 4 versus 4. No shadow effect. Then ready him and defend again against Rogar, who's currently 3. No shadow effect. And then raise threat by 1. Ready him again. And then attack. Everybody's all in on Rogar. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And even Beverly's going to get it. Oh no. 13. 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. And Rogar gets hammered. I mean, he went up against Q. So even if he didn't have the 4 from Q, he still would have lost. So I think it works. I'm quite pleased with this. I don't like stage 1. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of stage 1. I just don't think stage 1's very fun. But stage 2 I think is great. Yeah. So I'm going to fix you will die. I'm actually going to take it off you will not ignore us. That's victory. Rogar dies, goes to victory display, blah blah blah. That's the end of that. Alright, I'm going to make a couple more tweaks. Go get something to eat and then come back and either play this one again with a different deck maybe. Yeah, you know what? Let's play this one again but with a different deck. Completely different deck. Yeah. Let's do that. Play this again. So I'll make some tweaks, get something to eat, and then different deck, different ship. Let's see what happens. In there, Beverly, and Enterprise, and chuck that in. TNG test deck box, and let's grab the TOS peeps. The Enterprise. I've not played this in ages. I don't know whether it's is even in the deck, whether it's of any use to us. Let's see what happens. 12, 26, 36. Holy crap. That's a lot. God damn. That's huge. There better be some threat reduction in there. Jeez. It's better pull to ready him, so he'll be able to defend. Reduce your threat to starting level. Oh, there you go. Reduce threat to starting level 36 at some point when it gets dangerous. That's great. And Leonard McCoy. There's a spelling mistake on this card. That annoys me. That does annoy me, people. Well, the card I've got on file is better. But still not very elegant. I mean, that's better. Exhaust Leonard McCoy to heal up to 3 points damage from one non-ship character you control. That's pretty easy. Cool. Alright, and then the Enterprise itself. So it's the Enterprise A, which is my favorite Enterprise. Does not exhaust to defend, which is handy. Spend X resources to take one enemy or location from the encounter deck and add it to the victory display. Equals the printed threat of the enemy location, limit once per game. Pretty cool. Can't do it to Roger because he's immune to player card effects, but it's a pretty sweet ability. Alright, like I said, I'm going to end it here and go get something quick to munch and then just reset, make those small changes, and then ready to rock another session. Shower 10.